Let's talk about how to get everyone involved in your next book club discussion. One really common complaint I hear from book clubs is that it's hard to get everybody involved in the discussion, especially in a larger book club. Some people are naturally more talkative and gregarious, and some people are naturally more quiet, and sometimes it's hard to balance out the participation in the discussion. So today I want to share with you 3 classroom tricks that teachers have for getting students involved in discussions that will work when you're in charge of your next book club discussion. The first thing to try is to just let the discussion evolve organically. Let those who are ready to jump in and talk do so. Let the conversation get started, and then at some point, maybe even as much as half an hour or 45 minutes in, kind of step back and assess. Take a look around the room and see who hasn't had a chance to talk. That's the point at which to invite some of those people into the conversation. Turn to them and ask them, what do you think? So that they have an opportunity to talk. They've probably been sitting quietly thinking that whole time, and they have something to say, but sometimes they just need a little bit of space made for them to be able to step into the conversation. As the discussion leader, you can be the person to make that space for them. This isn't only a tip for you when you're leading your book club discussion. You can do this anytime. At the end of one of your own comments, ask a question of someone who's sitting next to you or across the room from you and who's been very quiet the whole time. Or say to them, what do you think? And invite them into the conversation. It can feel a little bit awkward the first time you do it, but usually those quieter people who are waiting for an opportunity to get into the discussion appreciate when somebody does that for them. Another great trick is to hand out blank index cards at the beginning of your book club meeting. Ask everybody to take a few minutes to quietly reflect on one question and one comment that they would like to bring to the discussion that evening. Then everybody has time to kind of think ahead, process, and actually write down what they want to say. Sometimes that helps those shyer, quieter people to just have a few minutes to think it through and therefore be more ready to jump into the conversation when it heads in the direction of the comment or the question that they have. A third tip when you're leading your book club discussion is to start with one of the quiet people. You probably know everybody in your book club really well, and you know who that one person is or who those 2 people are who tend to sit back quietly the whole time. Don't jump on them and surprise them by asking them first, but just say to them gently at the beginning of the discussion, I wonder if you'd like to start us off with a comment or a question or a reflection on what we've read. Just invite them to begin the discussion, and then it starts in a place that they're comfortable with. Of course, there's another participation problem that a lot of book clubs have, and that is 1 or 2 domineering members who say way more than they're supposed to in the discussion and shut down other people when they're trying to talk. There are 2 possibilities here. One is that they're doing it without realizing that they're doing it, but the other one is that they're doing it deliberately. In the first case, if someone maybe is just not aware of how much they're dominating the conversation, see if you can enlist a friend of theirs to speak to them privately and gently about it, and ask them to pay attention to the people in the room who aren't speaking as much. That person who is dominating may be really uncomfortable to realize they've been doing that, and hopefully will be open to the suggestion of helping others out as long as it's presented to them in a positive, light, and helpful way. In the second case of someone who's dominating every single book club discussion on purpose, hijacking it for their own power or other reasons, that's bullying behavior, and it can't be allowed to continue. The only way to stop a bully in this situation is to shut them down. And the best way to do that is not in a private one-on-one conversation that they can just discount as, oh, that's just that person's opinion that I'm speaking too much. You're going to have to confront that person with what they're doing to the book club and what you want them to do. It's going to require maybe not the discussion of your entire book club, but at least 2 people to sit down and talk with that person and lay out a very clear expectation about the behavior that you're looking for at your next book club meeting. chances are you might offend that person and they might quit your book club. But if they don't quit, everybody else will, because it's no fun to be at book club with somebody who's dominating the conversation purposely every single time. We all know that book club is a lot more fun when everyone gets to have their say. So if you're having problems with getting people involved in your discussion or someone who's over involved, I hope some of these tips will be helpful to you. Read on.